Have you ever got to camp and realized, oh, I forgot that small little thing, or oh, I wish I would have brought that. Why didn't we bring that? Well, inside this little box are 15 items that over the years, Regina and I have said those very same words about. And so today, we're gonna share with you what's inside this box. I think some of you will find these pretty interesting. But first, we've got to go find a camp spot, and it's summertime, so fingers crossed we can find a good spot. I'm gonna air down and we're gonna hit the trail. Today, Regina and I are about 10 miles north of Anza, California on the Thomas Mountain Trail. This trail was named after Charles Thomas, who was a pioneer settler back in the late 1800s, and he acquired 4,000 acres of land here by trading 22 cows for it, so he could start his ranch in 1861. And over the century, this region has a rich history of ranching, agriculture, and mining. Today, for us, it's the perfect high elevation trail for escaping the summer heat of the Southern California desert. It'll allow us to enjoy some mountain scenery and, fingers crossed, find a beautiful camp spot to spend the night and share with you those 15 items we don't want you to forget on your next trip. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video where I will give this trail a TrailRecon score. Okay, let's go see what we can find. Windows down, 72 degrees and sunny, just the way we like it. Beautiful out here today. So I just want to take a moment and talk about the 392 and the trailer, because this is the very first time that I am towing the trailer with the 392. If you heard me discuss it a little while ago, when I ordered the 392, there was a little bit of a mix-up, and well, I didn't get the trailer tow package.
They should have checked.
Should have checked, my fault. But this last weekend, I installed the entire Jeep Mopar wire harness for the tow kit and the trailer hitch, and that was a much more involved process than I expected. But now we're able to tow and all the lights work, thankfully. On the drive out here, the 392 just doesn't care. I mean, it just goes. There's power for days. Suspension wise, it's pretty good. I mean, I think I'm sagging a little bit more than I would like, but it feels pretty comfortable. Although you were commenting, yeah. I think you're just not used to it, but how did it feel driving on the trail?
It was definitely a little bouncy, but you know, no big deal. Gives me a meaning to bouncing down a dirt road.
Bouncing down a dirt road. Yeah, I mean, you notice it when the trailer's on there, but really, it does a pretty good job. And the last thing is, well, fuel economy, and I think it's still too early to tell, but I'm guessing about 4 miles per gallon less.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad. It's not great with the 392 anyway, but I'm happy that now we can tow the trailer, because this is the setup that I was really looking forward to having the most. So we should be finding a pretty cool camp spot here soon. We got to get up into the trees though more. After several more miles down the trail, we arrived to the Toolbox Springs Campground, where there is a restroom, although not the cleanest forest restroom toilets we have ever stopped at. There are many designated campsites scattered around this area with picnic tables and plenty of shade, but they are all right off the trail and a little too close together for our liking. We were looking for something a little more remote. So, after a short break, we continued down the trail, which had now become covered in a forest of green ponderosa pines. And just a bit further down, we encountered one of the forest rangers out here. We took a moment and chatted with him for a bit and got some great advice. I have said it many times over the years, striking up a conversation with the locals or striking up a conversation with the forest rangers always results in finding the best camp spots. And that's exactly what happened. We had a nice conversation with the park ranger on the side of the trail, and he said, "You guys, there is nobody at the best spot in this entire mountain." And he told us how to get here, and he's absolutely correct. This is a beautiful, beautiful spot, a view of the valley and the mountains, and there is nobody around for miles. We have this place all to ourselves. There's a little bit of wind, but I think we're gonna be okay. The temperatures are perfect. So we're gonna get set up. I'll show you a couple of those things that are in our little kit, and Regina's gonna cook some dinner. we've got camp all set up, and we did decide to move the table and chairs because we have this beautiful view that we had our backs to, and that's not going to work. So, all right, I'm going to talk about all the goodies that I have in this little box here, and these are many things that we have forgotten over the years or wish we would have brought with us. And so I'm just going to start pulling a couple of these out. One, earplugs. I can't tell you how many times I've been camping and it's just been super windy and the fabric on the tent is flapping around and you just can't sleep. Or we've been at a campsite where there's been some other people that maybe were kind of partying all night long, and so having some earplugs can make for a restful night. And now I have these in every single vehicle. The next one is bug nets for your head. And I don't think we're gonna need these today. There's a little bit, some flies around, but there's no mosquitoes. But I like these ones because one, they have nice mesh on them, but two, they are impregnated with some permethrin. And so when you get to a spot where the bugs are thick, you throw one of these on and at least they're not flying in your face. And so these are very nice to have. They come in these small little packages. We always carry those with us now. One is something I hope we don't need tonight, but we might need them in the morning. It might be a little chilly in the morning, and that is some hand warmers. Hand warmers can just be such a nice little comfort thing. Throw them in your pocket in the morning when I'm making coffee and I can barely feel my fingers. These are very nice to have. There are some ones that I saw recently that are like USB hand warmers where you can recharge them and throw them in their pocket. That might be a nice option, but I do like these because they're just small, compact, and easy to use, and I know they work. Next one is one we won't be using tonight, and that is a fire starter. There are no campfires allowed where we're camping tonight, but there are many places where we go where campfires are allowed. And having a little disc like this or some little pieces of wood that are treated and just make lighting a fire super easy, very nice to have. Next is something that I started carrying recently this year. Now I have a Garmin InReach that I use that helps me communicate with Regina through text and also has a little SOS feature. But I wanted something that was a little more powerful, especially when we're in the forest like this, trying to talk to a satellite. Something like a personal locator beacon. This one here is from ACR. I have no affiliation with these guys. Has a very powerful signal. Basically just pop this up. There's a massive antenna and it sends a lot more power through this than it does the Garmin InReach. I hit this little button and while I can't text or anything else, this sends a signal to the nearest search and rescue, whether it's military or civilian, and they will come right to my spot. These are very nice to have. Now there's no annual fee or monthly fee that you have to pay. It's just a one-time cost, and this is something that I carry with me all the time, especially when Regina and I are out here camping by ourselves. You know, it's just good insurance to have. So there's a few things to show you. We've got more in here, but we're gonna relax for a little bit, and Regina's gonna start dinner in a minute. So the kitchen's open?
The kitchen is open.
Ooh, what's for dinner?
We're gonna have a pizza calzone made in my new Omnia stovetop oven.
What the heck is that?
Well, I was fortunate enough to get my hands on one at Overland Expo West, and it's basically a piece of cookware that lets you bake on a stovetop. So things you could normally do in an oven, you can do here while you're camping.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm down for some calzones. What's going in it?
So we're going to start off by frying up some ham and getting a nice little sear on it, pepperoni, mozzarella cheese, artichoke hearts, olives, marinara sauce, and mushrooms. I like to load them up, flavor explosion.
It sounds like it's going to be a massive flavor explosion.
It should be. Professional chopping technique.
Very professional.
Hey, I'm a highly trained chef. I am Pinterest trained.
Every time. Every time.
It's like the eye puff thing. You know it's coming, but it still startles you.
Every time.
I can't help myself.
If given the choice, I think I could eat Italian food every night for dinner. And when Regina said she was making a calzone at camp, well, My mouth instantly began watering. The calzone was going to be stuffed with some savory ingredients, but the actual preparation was pretty simple. And once it was all wrapped up in the pizza dough and placed in her new camp oven, it then needed to cook for 45 minutes. This gave me plenty of time to do the pre-dinner dishes. He who does not cook, cleans. As the calzone was baking, the aroma at camp was filled with the amazing smell of zesty tomato sauce, pepperoni, and baked bread. Oh yeah,
Ready to check?
this
I'm ready.
is going to be good.
Okay.
Smells delicious.
Ooh,
Look at that.
that looks pretty nice, if I do say so myself.
I'm ready to dig in.
It smells good. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Is
That's delicious.
it a do-over?
Yeah, that's really good. The olives and the artichoke and the pepperoni.
Ham and cheese.
That's pretty good. You just baked a calzone
I
at
know.
camp. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
This one definitely ranks up there with one of the best camp meals, and we put a pretty big dent in this calzone. Oh, and I had after-dinner dishes as well.
I am stuffed. That was delicious. Nice job, Regina.
Thirds.
I had thirds. I did. I'm guilty. I had thirds. But I'm a fan of her little oven thing. What do you call it?
It's the Omnia stovetop oven.
Yeah, that thing. I like it. Okay, a couple more things out of the box here that just don't want to forget. Chip clips. That's right. Chip clips. These things are great for, yes, clipping chips, but also if you have some wet socks or something and you need to hang them up and clip them up somewhere, a towel or whatever. These are very functional, but I don't know why we have like 50 of these. But we do have quite a few now because we don't forget them anymore.
You need them. And I wouldn't clip the chips. I'd clip the chip bag.
Clip the chip bag. Yes. Toilet paper.
How'd that look?
Toilet paper. I mean, it goes without saying, but when you forget toilet paper, somebody doesn't forget that you forgot the toilet paper. Don't forget the toilet paper.
What are you talking about, honey?
Nothing.
Uh-huh.
Poncho. We don't have this problem so much here in Southern California. However, something small like this can really just be a lifesaver when you are out at a camp like this and you just get an unexpected downpour of rain. Having some ponchos that you can just throw on really quick are nice to have. They don't take up much space. I'm a fan of just carrying a few of these. I did do dishes tonight, and when we bring the trailer, we've got tons of water, and so water isn't a huge issue when we're just out for a couple nights. But if I'm just by myself in the Jeep and I'm really trying to conserve water, I started using these food grade wipes, and this makes it really easy to clean up and not use a lot of water. It's really nice is when you are out and you stop for lunch, you don't really want to get out all the stuff and just wash your dishes. You know, you can use these, wipe off a couple of the utensils, put everything away, and then later on you can rewash them, but these do a pretty good job. And so I always carry food grade wipes. All right, here's a big one. I know, it's simple, but sunblock. But we are out here all the time, and I am in the sun a lot more than most folks because I'm running up and down the trail with a camera. But look, skin cancer is a real thing, and you need to make sure that that you're bringing some sunblock. Don't forget it, guys, because going to bed at night after you've been out in the sun all day and you're all sunburned, it's a miserable feeling. So, okay, Regina and I are gonna hang out and enjoy the rest of the evening. And now that she's got this oven thing and has got something planned for breakfast, I'm excited for that. So it's gonna be a good night.
The next morning, Regina was going to put her new oven to work again by baking up some buttermilk blueberry breakfast cakes. But first, we needed to let the butter soften up in the sun for a little bit. She made this cake completely from scratch. No pre-made cake mix here. Regina loves to bake, and she's been doing it for years. And now that she is taking her baking skills from home and bringing them to camp, well, I just might be putting on a few more pounds in the future if I'm not careful. This cake was amazing, and it went perfectly with our coffee and made this spectacular view at camp just a little sweeter. Oh, and after having more blueberry breakfast cake than I really should have had, I once again was on kitchen patrol duty. But it was worth it. Breakfast was delicious. Now we're going to pack up here in a minute and hit the trail. And don't forget, at the end of the video, we're going to give you our impressions of what we think about Thomas Mountain Trail. But before we do any of that, I've got the last little bits of things here in the box that I want to share with you. So, flashlight and headlamp. Yes, I know, that goes without question, but rechargeable flashlight and headlamps. I can't tell you how many times we've been out and I forgot batteries, and so being able to recharge these while you're driving, it's a huge benefit. So I only carry rechargeable flashlights and headlamps anymore. A multi-tool. This thing gets used quite a bit, and so having a multi-tool is super valuable. Plus, you know, I have a big tool bag, but just to grab something where I can get a pair of pliers really quick, or a screwdriver if I need it, or a knife, multi-tool is nice just to keep in the center console, glove box, wherever. That way you don't have to dig into your tool bag when you just need something really quick. Oh, look, hand sanitizer. That's hand sanitizer, guys. So, I always carry hand sanitizer. It's nice to be able to have that sink on the trailer and wash your hands, but you don't always have that convenience, and be able to just squirt in here, clean your hands off really quick is a nice little benefit. 1 gallon freezer bags. These are very nice to have. There's 101 uses for these. Just last night when we had that delicious calzone, we did have some leftovers, even though I had thirds. Might have that for lunch today because we saved it and put it in a freezer bag. Also, these are great for trash. You can throw trash in here during your day, zip it up, you're not gonna have any smells or any leaks in the vehicle, and then when you get to like a gas station or whatever, you can just drop it in the trash there. Last up is a can opener. Because struggling to open a can with one of those old school can openers it takes a little bit of work. So I won't ever forget one of these. So there you go. There's the 15 items in our bag that we try not to forget when we're out here camping. Thomas Mountain is a wonderful trail to explore, and here is our TrailRecon score for this route. For scenery and points of interest, this trail gets a 3 out of 5. While the trail does have some great mountain views, other than the campsites along the way, there really are not a lot of other points of interest to explore. As for how engaging this trail is, well, it's a 2 out of 5. This trail is easy and almost doesn't need four-wheel drive. However, there are a few narrow shelf roads, and come up here in the winter when there is snow on the trail, well, then you can raise the score to a 3. Now for the do it again factor, and I'm probably inflating this a little bit, but I am giving it a 3 out of 5 only because I like coming up here often. And as I just mentioned, it's fun to explore whether it's dry or whether there's snow on the trail. This gives Thomas Mountain a TrailRecon score of 8 out of 15. If you're looking for a fun and easy mountain trail to explore and possibly stay the night, it's worth the drive up. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with Regina and I on this Thomas Mountain camping adventure. We have had a blast, and now I am a fan of baking at camp. I hope we get to do a lot more of that in the future. Please check us out over at TrailRecon.com. We've got all kinds of camping and overland gear to outfit your next adventure. And if you're looking for some meetups with some other overlanders, like-minded folks like you, and some exclusive membership benefits, check out e3overland.com. Thanks for joining us. See you in the next video.